Google Forms now accepts payments. The Payable Forms add-on allows for seamless integration of a digital checkout with your Google Forms. Install the Payable Forms add-on. Link your payment provider. Share and get paid. Your customers can use Apple Pay, Google Pay, Visa, MasterCard, American Express, Discover, Cash App, Venmo, and more. Save time and hassle by automating your payment process quickly and simply. Payable Forms gets you paid.
And welcome back to Colonel Samuel Smith Park here on the campus of Humber College. It's the 2024 Transatlantic Cup, the final game of the first day of men's action in the tournament. The hosts, Canada in red, taking on Great Britain, as it is the Canadian North Wind against the Great Britain Bulldogs. And again, this is the final game of the first day of men's competition in the tournament. Great day of footy and one more great game coming at you. I'm Patrick McNeil alongside David Smith. Reminder, this is a 6-team tournament on both the men's and women's side. Teams split into two groups. You play everybody in the opposite group. 4 points for a win, 2 for a draw, none for a loss. Top two teams in each group will face off in semifinals. The winner of those games will go out of the final, and there'll be placement matches as well for those that do not qualify for the proper playoff tournament. I'm eventually going to go over the keys to the game and look at some key players as well. Take a look at the keys of the game for Canada. Try to capitalize on the home ground advantage, capitalize on the conditions, and use their height. What about Great Britain, David?
Season hold momentum. Clean skills are going to be key for them in this game, as well as they're going to keep the pressure on the Canadians. The season hold momentum, clean skills are going to be important, and they got to keep the pressure on the Canadians here today.
Also have an opportunity to take a look at some players to watch. Of course, Canada missing some leadership, but Captain Jim Ortel was scratched out, but they do have defender of the Quebec Saints, number 28, Morgan White, 42 years old, but a veteran player. He'll be a steadying presence in the back end for the Great Britain Bulldogs. Look at Owain Ryland, the Cardiff Panthers, 34-year-old who's played in 2 international cups, also plays field hockey. He has led Great Britain with the most career appearances internationally, so he's someone with great experience they will look to rely on today.
From a team standpoint, an intriguing game. If you look at the 2017 International Cup, Canada finished 7th, while Great Britain finished 6th. But it was actually Canada that defeated Great Britain in their one game that they played against each other with a 33-18 victory. So who knows where this game is going to go, but here we are for the third game of the second day of the Transatlantic Cup presented by Payable Apps. And let's have Patrick start the game on the ball up here at Humber College.
Thank you, David. Looking forward to this game. Of course, Canada falling short of the Great Britain in the women's contest, 22-20, and the men will look to avenge that result today. And again, we'll expect another great contest in the ruck. Great Britain sending out Joe Moore. The Sussex Swans wears number 20. Canada providing some size in the ruck as well. As again, this is the first game for both of these teams. It's number 2, Gregory Lehman of the Ottawa Swans. So players from different Swans teams in the ruck here as we are about to get underway with the opening bounce. Canada in red jumpers, red shorts. Great Britain in blue jumpers, blue shorts. Canada kicking towards the Toronto end of the field. Great Britain kicking towards the Mississauga end of the field. Don't forget to visit Mississauga.ca. And we're underway with the final game of day number 2 at the Transatlantic Cup, as Great Britain takes the ball off the clearance to start the game, backing up. Kick to the right side of the field. Early mark there for Owain Ryland, who we just heard about as our key player to watch for. Great Britain, he's making an immediate impact. Ball on the boundary there. Ian Euler making his debut for Team Canada, and he helps create some pressure to get Canada the ball on the left side. Great Britain takes possession. Hands changing here as another tackle. Good physicality for both teams early on, David.
Yes, and we have a ball up here at their live boundary. Up it goes. Off the hands of Great Britain. Puts it up. Handball goes awry off Oiter. Canadians now come with it. Here is Liang. Gets it to a teammate. Kick towards their forward 50 Canadian, but there's an intercept mark, and Great Britain will be able to clear out of their defense 50. Kick up to a bit of a diving mark there by Owain Ryland. Looks like they're going to go up the wing here. Pretty long kick, but a nice mark there by Adam Kelly And they're getting some mojo going here, the Bulldogs.
Adam Kelly of the Manchester Mosquitoes with the ball, and he's assessing his options. Seeing a lot of tagging there, a lot of man-to-man, so not a lot of open space. Tries to hit a lead along the right wing, and that's exactly what he's going to do. He ends up finding Jack Coughlin. He'll kick it towards the center, centering kick. No mark, but possession maintained for Great Britain. Kick towards forward 50 as a ball up in the air. Who is going to retrieve it? Now the ball on the ground. First kick to goal for either side. The ball will go dribbling. It'll be retrieved by Team Canada's Chris Stokes. Kicks along the right boundary. Ball will end up in the hands of the Great Britain Bulldogs. Nope, Canada retrieves, and they're on the counterattack. Marching towards the forward 50 along the right side. It'll come out just to the top of the 50-meter line there. Great smother by the Great Britain player. And then putting on the pressure as well is Oliver Reese. But he's not able to maintain possession for Great Britain, and the ball will bounce along the right boundary line.
We'll go to it will, and that'll be a boundary throw in the pocket of the Canadian forward end. No score here. 2.5 minutes gone here in the first quarter. Pick up by Great Britain. Go backwards. They still keep possession, but a nice tackle, and what will be the call here? Free kick to Canada.
Holding the ball against Great Britain.
Holding the ball, so tough angle, but this is certainly nobody on the mark. He goes forward, but that looks like that's just 1 point.
Yeah, first point of the game goes to Team Canada's Matteo Lugarini, the Toronto Dingoes, making his international debut for Team Canada.
Great Britain a little lucky there, where the no man on the mark. It really could have been 6 points for Canada with that error.
Kick along the right boundary as Great Britain now trailing 1-0. Canada, the host country, of course, here in Toronto. As they're appealing, the Brits are appealing for holding the ball call, and they're going to get it. So it'll be a free kick for Great Britain. Again, seeing a lot of pressure physically from both teams. Callum Jenkinson of the North London Lions, who has some soccer experience, a common thread, I think, for a lot of these Great Britain players. He kicks it forward, another mark for the United Kingdom. We'll see if either team can establish a set of links, and he's looking, trying to find some leads, but again, not a ton of space out there. Both teams marking up pretty well, and the ball is going to be kicked out on the boundary.
This is Rob Trezeguet taking the free kick from the out in the full call. Kicked along the wing, off hands of the Canadian, and that'll be a boundary throw-in.
Yeah, it looked like that was Lugarini again, who has the game's only score, as a minor score, and now we're going to see a boundary throw in here. Again, it's 1-0 on the Payable app scoreboard. No goals for either team, one behind for Team Canada. As off the boundary throw in, ball dispute along the ground. We'll see a tackle. Don't think there was any prior opportunity there, so we should see another ball up.
Tough tackle there by Adam Kelly. Little bit of spirit in there. Ball up though, nothing too heavy there. Nice ruck there by Canada, but Great Britain still comes up with the ball. Callum Jenkinson working hard. Canada comes up with the ball. That's Shoebridge. Michael Burke kicks the ball up towards their forward 50. Nice tackle there, and I would say the umpire is going to call for the ball at this point.
Yeah, physical start to the game for both sides here. Again, the women's sides played these two countries, and the men's sides going at it today in the final game of day number 2, first day of men's action in the tournament. Ball on the ground here will come to Great Britain. Good kick to keep that inbounds, and it does end up being a kick to a mark for Great Britain. Again, the Great Britain Bulldogs towards the Mississauga. And visit Mississauga.ca. They are in blue, is Great Britain. Ball on the ground. Nice handball kept inbounds. Kick, and that's nicely spoiled there by Greg Bridges. Recently back from a stint in Australia is Greg Bridges. And there's a tackle.
Ian Oyer gets tackled there, and then comes off. There'll be a ball up just in front of us here at the broadcast location. Great Britain gets the ball. Handball is a little bit awry, but they spit. Goes backwards. Great Britain gets, he's tackled. Capitalize, they can't at the moment. Great Britain gets it again, but right on him is number 7, Uday Kapila.
Uday Kapila, what's cycled across Canada. And again, not a lot of space for either team in this game. You're seeing tackles right away, not a lot of holding the ball because there hasn't been a lot of prior opportunity. And Great Britain appealing for a high tackle. And I think they are going to get paid.
He actually got for in the back, so it could be either one of those calls. But
Great Britain will take the ball regardless.
It's certainly a free kick for them, whichever way it goes. So there's a longer kick. Haven't seen a lot of those really, but there's an intercept mark by Morgan White. Kick up to the midfield. Drops the mark was Coventry. Back comes Great Britain. Long kick towards the sticks, but it just goes wide of even the behind post, and there'll be no score there. But there will be a boundary throw in deep in their pocket. So this is probably the better scenario than a behind for the Bulldogs. We'll see what goes in. Can the Canadian defense hold? It's off hands. Ball rolling around. Canada comes up with it. Bounces here right in front of us and eventually goes over the line. Rob Trezingi was heavy on the ball there, but there'll be a boundary throw in right in front of the Here There live broadcast position.
Rocking contest out in front of our booth game. Of course, this game and all games being streamed on AFL Canada's YouTube channel. Ball kicked along the left boundary, and that is just going to bounce out. Payable off scoreboard shows Canada up 1-0.
Out on the full, so that'll be a Callum Jenkinson free kick for Great Britain. Kick down the line, and a nice mark there, taken right on the line by Oliver Louis. There's a kick towards their forward 50, off hands. Can they catch possession? Now the Canadians defending well, but they lose the ball there. High ball, way up in the air, bounces in the pocket. Canadian tackled without the ball, but Great Britain picks it up, kicks towards goal. It bounces just before the sticks, and Canada is able to clean up. Kicks it high towards midfield. Nobody gets a hand on it. It hits grass. Canada, here's a mark towards the side. Kick long down the line. And there's a nice mark. What he plays on is David Cook. Oh, they're calling him, he infringed, and Great Britain gets the free kick.
Yeah, David Cook was wanting to play on there, but no such opportunity. But there is Capelli with an intercept. He plays in Toronto with the Rebels. And he'll have an opportunity trying to find a lead somewhere, perhaps. Kicks to the left side of the field. Hands up for Great Britain, and that ball will trickle its way out of the boundary. 10:38 left here in the opening quarter on the Payable app scoreboard. Canada up 1-0 on Great Britain.
Jump against two Bulldogs there, so the sideline was probably a good result for him. Canada kicks it towards the forwards, but picked up by Great Britain. Long kick, and there's a nice mark by Callum Jenkinson. There's a name we've been saying a lot of in this game. They're going towards the hot spot, but can't catch a good possession. Canada defending hard, defending well, and there's a whistle.
Yeah, again, seeing a lot of contests here. It hasn't been a ton of space. Both teams marking up well. Physical game in the early going. Again, this is the first game of the tournament for both of these teams, as the ball will look like it might dribble out, but it does stay in play. Canada try to keep it alive here. As play in the right side of the field, the defensive 54 team Canada kick along the right boundary. Canada trying to break out, get out of trouble, so to speak. Good pressure from Great Britain, and again, the ball on the close to the boundary, and the play whistled by the umpire. It's nice to be tapped into the audio of the umpire crew here as you're watching this broadcast, courtesy of eThere Live on AFL Canada YouTube channel.
Over 10.5 minutes gone here in the first quarter on the Payable app scoreboard. It's 1-0 for Canada. Not a lot of scoring so far. Not a lot of room out there either. And it looks like that's over the line, so going to be a boundary throw-in. The far side, the Lake Ontario side of the field. Batted away from their defensive goalposts. But it's over the line, and there'll be another boundary throw-in.
Yeah, and again, kind of fitting to the theme we're talking about, both teams kind of having a difficulty in the early going just due to the pressure of establishing any sort of system of links, so to speak, as Canada try to march forward along the right side, far side, Lake Ontario side of the field. And Great Britain in possession again. Great Britain kicking towards the Mississauga. And Mississauga. Great Britain in blue as a kick across. And hands up, an attempted mark there. Couldn't quite reel it in, Jacob Tucker, and the ball will end up in dispute along the ground. As hands from the Great Britain player, that was Michael Sharp, co-captain. There's a bounce, Great Britain on the attack towards the inside 50. There's a kick from quite a distance, might have the legs, and that's going up and up. And Great Britain celebrates first major score of the game. That could be contention for the Payable Apps goal of the tournament. Quite the distance on that boot, and Great Britain with a 6-1 lead following that goal that comes just past the 12-minute mark.
In a game how tight it is right now, a goal like that is massive. Speaking of massive, what a massive kick that was. And Great Britain gets the first goal of the game.
Yeah, I believe that was number 11, Matty Morris, getting his boot on that. As Great Britain opens the scoring, well, opens their scoring, I should say, opens their bank account, so to speak, as it is 6-1 in favor of the Great Britain side. This Payable App scoreboard shows Great Britain 1 goal, no behind. Canada, no goal, 1 behind. 6-1 is the score in the early going. Good game of footy. Again, Canada, the host country here at Colonel Samuel Smith Park in the campus of Humber College in Toronto. Ball up is won by Great Britain at center. Kick towards the forward 50. Ball bouncing on the ground as Canadian hands trying to retrieve that, try to get it out of trouble here. As kick through the corridor. No mark to be had there. As ball bouncing around here. Some physicality, a lot of bumping going on as Canada try to get possession here. As that was Jason Niston, co-captain for Canada, number 62. Ball stays in bounds here. It looks like Niston's after it. Used the back option for the handball, but again, no time and no space for Team Canada there. And again, no prior, so it's going to be a ball up.
Right here on our mics, there's a bit of a wind here today going across the ground from the Lake Ontario side towards this their live broadcast location. Be interested to see if that will have any effect in this game. We haven't a lot of wind during either of the 2 days of the tournament. Batted forward by Monning. Canada getting into their forward 50, but not getting possession. Can Great Britain clear out? Ball in dispute. Here's Liang, a long kick off the Great Britain defender's hands, in the pocket, kick towards goal, and it hits the post. That'll be the second post for the second point for the Northwind in this first quarter.
Yeah, it was Lugarini once again, his second behind of the game. He wished that one of those was a major score, but in the meantime, it'll be a 6-2 count for Great Britain on the Payable App scoreboard. And tackle on the Great Britain player will hand the ball over to the umpire. We'll get a ball up here.
But not much time, with a couple of Canadians jumping on top of him there. That could be, tackled from below the knees, so that'll be a free kick to Mickey Burke of the Edmonton Wombats. Great name for a footy team for sure.
Absolutely.
Oh, that right into the man on the mark, but he is able to get possession again. Canadians kick the ball, Liang, to a bunch of players, off hands for Great Britain, who gains control. Kicks it down the wing. That's going to hit grass. And kept in by Great Britain. Coughlin kicks it just inside the 50-meter arc. Players diving all over the place. Picked up by Canada, but tackle pressure really heavy here by Great Britain. Handball back, kick towards goal. They like it because it's goal number 2 for the Bulldogs. 2 long kicks and 2 goals for the Bulldogs in this first quarter.
Yeah, another beautiful kick, and that is Callum Jenkinson of the North London Lions, who's played with Great Britain in the European Championships. as a background, has actually played some American football in university, and he has a key strike at the goal here for Great Britain as they lead 2 goals, no behinds. Canada, no goals, 2 behind, so 12-2 for Great Britain on the Payable app scoreboard. Of course, both of these teams looking to move up the Vision Glass tournament standings. Vision Glass Toronto, locations in Richmond Hill, Thornhill, Woodbridge, and Vaughan, specializing in auto glass services. And obviously, a win is very important in a short tournament like this one.
Player down, so we're going to have a break here as they tend to the Canadian player who is having an issue right now. But the Bulldogs, 2 goals, and I think both of them were from outside the 50-meter arc. That is taking all of your opportunities beyond that, really, because you can't really expect to score too many, kick too many goals from outside the 50 in a tournament like that, like this. So they'll be certainly happy with the score at this point. Great Britain, 2 goals, no behinds, 12 points. Canada, no goals, 2 behinds, 2 points on the Payable app scoreboard.
Yeah.
We have just over 3 minutes left here in the first quarter.
Yeah, and you can talk, of course, about execution and creating options and whatnot, but it can be tough to tackle or tough to battle against kicks of that caliber. Ultimately, it comes down to execution in a lot of ways, and Great Britain with a couple of well-executed kicks. Again, Great Britain kicking towards the visitmississauga.ca side of the field. Canada kicking towards the Toronto side of the field. Again, 12-2 is the score in favor of Great Britain in the opening quarter. Final game of day number 2 of the Transatlantic Cup in 2024. Tackle near the center mark of the field, and it looked like that was Mason Schubert, the Calgary Kookaburras, or Kangaroos, pardon me, that was completing that tackle. Tap, again, the ball in the midfield. Contest along the ground. We're seeing some of the game here in the early going as ball is loose. And that'll be looked at, scooped up there temporarily by Greg Bridges of Team Canada. But Great Britain gets possession. Ball dribbling towards forward 54, the Great Britain Bulldogs. Ball on hands of Team Canada's Morgan White. Kicking along the right side. And Capelli has it for Team Canada. Now he's taken down, and boy, as I said before, not necessarily a lot of time to move the ball for Canada or Great Britain for that matter. Is seeing a lot of footy played along the ground here. Now it's kicked along the right boundary, and the ball will go for an adventure, bouncing along the right sideline.
It's not only hard to get marks at this point, it's hard to get clean handballs because there's somebody on you right away. No time to do anything, no time to think anyway, and you just got to do, and that's not always a great option in terms of getting clean looks. That's off of the hands of Lehman. But Great Britain gets hold of it off hands. Nice smother there. Canada gets control. Bouncing around as it's been a lot of in this quarter. Minute and a half left here in the first quarter as Great Britain leads by 10.
Yeah, 12-2 is the score in favor of Great Britain. And we'll get a ball up here in the late stages of quarter number 1. Of course, we talked about the audio production. Great work by Either Live. You can hear the sounds of the game, be it the umpires or sidelines barking instructions and whatnot. And we'll get another ball up here as 1:08 is the time left on the clock. So that's Greg Lehman. Brings a lot of size in the ruck for Team Canada. Towering presence out there, no question about that. But Great Britain is ultimately going to get possession as ball finds its way in the hands of Callum Jenkinson, who, of course, kicked a beautiful goal earlier in the first quarter. He'll take advantage of the switch option. No mark. Play on as the ball goes up into the sky. Ian Euler looking after for Canada, but unable to get the mark as good defense there by Great Britain. It'll be kicked along the right wing. Ball goes dribbling, and is that going to stay in play? No, it will not. It goes for an adventure outside the playing field. And it all comes with just under 30 seconds to go here.
Boundary throw in here in the Great Britain pocket. See if they can quickly get possession and get a kick at goal. In the ruck. Got by Canada. That's off of hands. 10 seconds by our clock left. Now, there was an injury, so we're not 100% sure what is left. So our clock could be a little bit different. Ball up, off hands. Great Britain gains possession. That is Sharp. Picked up by Trezeguet. High ball to the midfield. Kicked forward by Great Britain. And Canada gains possession offhand. Can't be much time left, but again, we don't know exactly what time is left on the clock due to that injury.
Yeah, soccer-style injury time, I guess we can call it here. In the home of soccer, Great Britain trying to take advantage, but it is ultimately the intercept mark for Team Canada. The players have been made aware that the quarter is coming to an end, and it does come to an end. As we look at the Payable app scoreboard, both teams with 2 scores, but the quality of the scores differs. Great Britain 2 goals, no behinds. Canada, no goals, 2 behinds, 12-2 for Great Britain. And as we've been talking about, David, physical first quarter, and ultimately it's the opportunistic nature of the Great Britain kicking game that's the difference here after 20 minutes.
Pretty even quarter. I would think the inside 50s were relatively close. And I would say, funny enough, the 2 goals that Great Britain scored were kicked from outside the arc. So Canada had some opportunities, kicked a couple behinds, but lots of footy to play here in the last 3 quarters. Great Britain and Canada had a thriller in the women's game, and I think we're set up for one here on the men's side as well.
Yeah, it certainly looks to be shaping up to be that is the final game of day number 2, the first day of men's action here, as you are watching the 2024 Transatlantic Cup from Colonel Samuel Smith Park at the campus of Humber College in Toronto, courtesy of Either Live on AFL Canada YouTube.
AFL has huge potential, not only in Colombia, but also Latin America. And Orica is really excited to be part of that story.
Los lazos humanos entre Colombia y Australia son de una importancia altísima. Para ambos países el deporte es algo muy importante en la vida. Tenemos las culturas muy similares en este sentido, con los valores de equidad de género, de participación. En la cancha todos somos iguales.
Mi vida siempre se basó en el tema del deporte, porque el deporte a mí me salvó de todo aspecto posible, que normalmente en la juventud no. El tema de alcohol, de vicios y demás, llegó a mi vida fue el deporte. En el 2019 tuve un accidente de tránsito donde las oportunidades de volver a tocar una cancha eran nulas. Aún los médicos me dicen, tú cero deporte, cero correr, jugar, saltar, deportes de contacto. Siento que mi familia en esa parte forma un pilar importantísimo. Mi mamá estuvo conmigo y me cuidó como nadie lo hizo, porque era la que tenía y se aguantaba la de mamá, no quiero a nadie en ese momento.
AFL Colombia has the potential to have long-lasting impacts in the communities. Entonces, Alejandro, Oscar y Estefanía, we chose these players as the future leaders because they showed throughout the selection process and throughout their time in the organisation that they are future leaders and they are really focused on developing others.
La idea es crecer aún más, estar en un nivel alto para así poder llegar y enseñarle a todos a mis compañeros.
Para mí la beca es una oportunidad enorme, una oportunidad que no se le presenta a cualquiera, una oportunidad que ya tenía mi nombre destinado en ello. Voy a vivir siempre agradecida con este deporte porque me dio una luz, porque yo vivía mi vida después del accidente, vivía mi vida pero no era feliz. Cuando conocí el deporte y empecé a jugar de nuevo, y vida está de testigo, mi vida cambió.
That's the culmination of a lot of work for a lot of people. A heap of people have contributed to this, and it's great to see them living out their dreams, and we're all very excited for them, and it's going to be great.
Patrick McNeil here alongside David Smith at the 2024 Transatlantic Cup. First game of the competition for both the Canadian Northwind and Great Britain Bulldogs, both out there as we are ready in a minute to start quarter number 2. David, it ends up being kicking efficiency that's the difference in quarter 1.
Both teams kicked 2 scoring shots. Great Britain kicked the ones that you want, and Canada kicked the ones that you don't. So that makes it 12-2 for Great Britain, with their 2 goals and the 2 behinds for Canada. Pretty even first quarter. I thought very, very much about pressure. Not a lot of time out there, so we'll see if that continues. But Patrick, take away the ball up for the second quarter.
Yeah, getting ready for ball up to begin quarter number 2. And again, this is the first of 3 games for these 2 teams. They play everybody in the opposing pool. Canada obviously in Group A, the Americas pool. Great Britain in the European pool. Great Britain kicking towards the Toronto end. Canada kicking towards the visitmississauga.ca end. And Greg Lehman up there in the ruck. He'll tap it back as Canada tries to get something going to start this second quarter. And trying to get rid of the ball there was Great Britain's goalie Hoban. And there's going to be a ball. Didn't really have any prior opportunity there, so we'll see another ruck contest. And again, not seeing a lot of space in terms of ball movement. As Great Britain moving it along the corridor, kicking a high kick into the inside 50 for Great Britain. Hands up. And ball dispute in the air. Wide open out in front. Kicked a goal there for Great Britain. And that's Andy Watkin, the vice captain of the Manchester Mosquitoes, with a major score and a defensive lapse of sorts for Team Canada. He was all alone in the goal square. He could have made a sandwich before he kicked that goal. And Great Britain is off and running here in the early part of quarter number 2. Of course, still lots of time to go, but the Payable app scoreboard shows Great Britain 3 goals, no behinds. Canada, no goals, 2 behinds.
Certainly that play was against script in this game, where you haven't seen anybody get any space, but he had the space right in front of the big sticks, and he made no mistake kicking it right through them for Great Britain's 3rd goal in this game. Canada needs some goals quick here, soon. They don't want to get too far behind this Great Britain team. Off the throw. Ball back on the ground again. Both teams trying to pick it up. That's Great Britain gets the free kick. Adam Kelly. Here's the ball to Jacob Tucker. Long kick just outside the 50-meter arc. Handball backwards to Michael Sharp. He kicks it to the wing, off hands. Great Britain still with possession. Certainly have had a lot more possession here early in the second quarter.
Yeah, free kick for holding the ball, as you said, David. A bit uncharacteristic in terms of the scores we'd seen earlier, as there has been very little time and space, but the Great Britain opportunistic, taking advantage of a key scoring opportunity in the goal square. Now Canada with it along the left boundary. High kick. It was by the spectators there. Nice to see some fans checking out the action today. Of course, we're going to be here for 10 days of great footy. Ball up in the air, and it comes to the Canadians along the left side. Ball on the ground here. Battle for it. As we talked about, the wind, too, could make the kicking game difficult. And I know, too, kudos to the cameraman who's been battling through the shaky conditions as well. The platform, I've seen that moving a little bit. It's easier for us on ground level, I think, David.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be up there.
Pretty high platform.
On the side, again, the ball goes over the boundary. Oh, free kick given to Canada? No, to Great Britain. Not sure what that was for. That goes into Sharp. Sharp kicks to midfield. Couldn't take the mark, was Coughlin. Canada now has it, but they cough it up. Ball just bouncing back and forth like a pinball machine. Great Britain now has it, though. Again, they lose it briefly, but get it back. That's bouncing in Great Britain's forward 50. Only team there is Canada. Kicks it up the wing. There's a nice mark. Kick down the line, but that's not to the advantage of Graham. Great Britain gains possession again, and there is a mark by Walkden. over to Hoban. Hoban kicks it in the forward 50, but there's a mark by Canada, and that should be their get out of jail free card.
Yeah, key intercept mark in the defensive 54 team Canada. Trying to settle the game down a little bit here. Maybe it's gotten away from them a little bit in the second quarter. Kick slightly towards the quarter, but it's an intercept mark, and that won't turn the tide as Andy Watkins becoming more of a factor as this second quarter comes on. Kick, centering kick, didn't go as intended. It'll come into the inside 54. Britton, though, high kick. Where is that going to land? We're going to have a contest here for sure. Nobody able to mark it cleanly. I think that's it. Greg Bridges taking the ground for Team Canada. Shouldn't be any prior there. I think that's going to be a ball up here in the Great Britain inside 450.
Canada in this quarter haven't really been making the best decisions with the ball, and that's really been an issue for them so far in the second quarter. They need to clean that up to get back into this game, because if they keep playing like that, it's going to be Great Britain all the way. There's a kick towards goal, but that's right of the post, and that will be Great Britain's first behind of this game. 3 goals, 1 behind, 19 points to Canada's 2 behinds, and 2 points on the Payable app's scoreboard.
Yeah, first blemish of sorts on the Great Britain scoreboard, but they'll take the point, I'm sure. Ball kicked along the left boundary, and the footing there getting a little bit trickier with the Great Britain player, but the whistle comes out. Again, it is 3 goals, 1 behind, Great Britain 19. Canada, no goals, 2 behinds, 19-2 as we're past the 5-minute mark here of this second quarter of play. The first day of men's competition in the 2024 Transatlantic Cup. Ball from the boundary as Great Britain looking to take possession. Kick along the ground there by Patrick Statham. As Great Britain in blue, Canada in red. Kick along the right boundary. Ball along the ground where it's spent a bit of time in this game thus far. Canada trying to switch here, but that's perhaps a kick to a high danger area and a key mark for Great Britain. And that is going to be David Hodgson of the Tiny Tees Tigers with the mark for Great Britain.
From Newcastle.
JB, just need you out, please.
Certainly a kickable ball for goal. This would be a nice lead for them if he can kick it. Slow walk up on the kick. It's away. He likes it off the boot, and he should. It's goal number 4 for the Bulldogs as they lengthen their lead here in the second quarter.
Yeah, David Hodgson put it just inside the post to our left, and Great Britain kicking for the skies here. You see the intensity coming up on the Canadian bench, the urgency starting to kick in. We talked about it before. Obviously, one loss and not the end of the world, but it's a short tournament, and you don't want to fall behind early, and that's obviously what Canada is doing on the scoreboard and also in the Vision Glass tournament standings. If they were to fall in this game, we'll get a ball up following the Great Britain goal. As in the ruck, it is going to be contested by Great Britain's Patrick Statham. And I see the Canadian player in the ruck here as both teams get a chance to restart following the Great Britain goal. No, we actually have a free kick awarded off the center clearance.
Great Britain's free kick. A little bit of confusion, but it's taken by Statham. Kick wide. That ball is dropped, and then he's tackled. Canada with possession. Kicking towards the Mississauga end with hundreds of must-see experience, plenty of gorgeous scenery, world-class eats and events. Mississauga is yours to explore. But they haven't been down that end near enough in this quarter, but here they are in their forward 50, and that's a nice mark. About a 45-degree angle. Didn't see who took that. Did you see?
Yeah, we're at the opposite end. That's opposite of our either live broadcast location, but a critical kicking opportunity here for Team Canada. Looks like it's going to be a kick to goal square as opposed to kicking for goal. And here's an opportunity off the ground.
Oh, what a goal. Snapped it off the crumb, and Canada gets their first goal of the game. A very important goal in the terms of this game.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, no,
it's been deemed a behind.
Behind it. Yeah. Certainly it looked like they were celebrating like it's a goal, but apparently not. Back come Canada towards the Mississauga end. Into the pocket. Battle for the ball. Have to see that pocket from our location.
Yeah, there's a maze of bodies there of sorts. Everybody glued to the action. As that was, would have been Jason Niston's goal for Team Canada, but ultimately ended up being a behind. So again, on the Payable Lap scoreboard, Great Britain 4 goals, 1 behind, Canada 1 goal and 3 behind. So 25-9 is the score in favor of Great Britain. Coming at, correction, 0. We're just reading the scoreboard. The scoreboard not correct. It is 0-3 because it was incorrectly scored. As we were all confused. It's going to be Ian Euler with the ball here. So again, it's no goals, 3 behinds for Canada. Ian Euler plays for the Halifax Dockers. Played high school football and high school hockey. He once allowed a hat trick to Brady Kachuk at the Quebec International Pee Wee Hockey Tournament. He's hoping for better results on this kick here. Of course, multi-sport athlete is Ian Euler. He kicks to the contest. It'll come back along the right boundary, or actually stays in the corridor. It'll come back out now into the forward 50. And we hear a whistle. So Canada thought they'd gotten a break with that Niston goal, but it ends up being behind. But now something may be on for the Canadians after all. As it is 0-3 Canada for 9, and Great Britain 4 goals, 1 behind for 25. As we have a free kick here for Team Canada, and perhaps this is going to be the breakthrough for a major score. And they'll kick that through, and I don't think we're missing that one, David. I think that is Canada's first major score of the tournament, and the Canadians are all fired up there. And that is going to be David Cook of the Burnaby Eagles getting Team Canada's first goal, and that will make it 1-3 for Canada. And it is 25-9 now. Critical goal for David Cook for the Canadians. Not the one that I went to high school with, as David Cook plays pretty much every sport under the sun. Not surprising he would get into Australian football. Plays hockey, soccer, baseball, basketball, and tennis. And now has a goal in the Transatlantic Cup to his name. A key one for Team Canada.
Yeah, that's a crucial goal given this game wasn't going the way the Canadians wanted. So the Northwind hoping the winds are going to be going in their direction in the second quarter. Boyder with the handball. Great Britain picks it up. Canada with the interception there. Here's Capilla. There's a nice mark in midfield. Ball bouncing. Canada trying to pick it up. They can't. Great Britain kicks it down the wing. Gets kept in. Still with possession. And there's a tackle, and that will be a ball up on the Lake Ontario side of the field.
Team Canada trails 25-9 and past the halfway mark of this second quarter. Canada, though, getting that critical breakthrough on the Cook goal just moments ago. Ball bouncing along the ground, and it will be won eventually by Great Britain. As nice series of handballs there. Kick to the forward 54, Great Britain. Again, Great Britain kicking towards the Toronto end as ball is along the ground. Pressure for Team Canada, trying to nullify this opportunity. And the play will be blown down. And here the umpire, nice to be able to hear the clarification, no prior, so that means a ball up. As again, there was no real opportunity to get rid of the football for the Great Britain player, so we'll have an opportunity. And this is a high percentage ball up for Great Britain, given where they are in proximity to the goal square.
Ball up right in front of the post. It's bouncing around, and it's rush behind for Great Britain's second behind in this game. Extends the lead, but not by as much as Great Britain would have liked. Canada, quick kick out. Nice mark there by Largi. Easy for me to say. Kick down the line. Another mark. He plays on right away. Here's Neaston. Neaston, long kick. That looks to be right off Great Britain hands and over the line. So that's going to be a boundary throw in the Canada forward pocket. So that's actually a pretty good result when you look at it. Plenty of time left here in this second quarter. Ball's going to be in a very dangerous spot for Canada. Can they gain possession and get a kick of the ball at goal? That's smothered. Great Britain tries to all kinds of players all around trying to gain possession. Umpire's going to say, I want it. Gonna throw it up. Lots of players around the ball. Can they gain possession? That's Trzigi. Here's a kick. That's smothered. Little bit of room. Not a clean pick up there by Cook, who kicks it off Great Britain hands. Ball just bouncing around.
Holding Canada off the ball, 62.
And it looks like Canada will get a free kick for Jason Neaston.
Holding, your free kick, yes.
Yeah, Neaston had a powerful kick that kind of started this sequence inside 50, and of course he soccered it off the ground for a behind earlier, so he'll have a key opportunity again. Great Britain 4 goals, 2 behinds. Canada 1 goal, 3 behinds. So 26-9 on the Payable app scoreboard is looks like. Yeah, we might have a pause in the action here, and yeah, definitely some blood visible. But going through the interchange gates was Rob Tersani, a veteran for Team Canada, played in the International Cup in 2017, played Parallel Cup in 2022 as well, plays club football for the Toronto Rebels. Has also been both a quarterback and a safety in playing Canadian football.
My apologies on the pronunciation of that name. I have a week to get that one right. Here's the kick. They like it off the boot, and there's a goal. Canada gets 2 on the hop, and they've closed this lead by Great Britain.
Yeah, key free kick awarded to Canada, and it's Neaston that's able to capitalize on it. And Team Canada now with their second goal of the quarter. Now more pushing and shoving out in front of the goal square as the temperatures rising here. And both of these teams are going to have to be careful. Nobody wants to get sent to tournament tribunal here in David in the Transatlantic Cup. But it is a goal for Canada, again at 26-15 for Great Britain on the Payable Apps scoreboard.
I wonder if that would be as controversial as some of the AFL tribunal decisions this year.
Well, I can't say that I'm happy that Harley Reid isn't in contention for the best and fairest for new players, but that's another debate for another day, as we will get the center clearance here. 3:54 to go by our clock in this first quarter. And I'll have to do that again, it looks like.
Free kick to Great Britain. And ball to Sharp. Kick within their forward 50, but it comes out. No mark. No prior there, so that'll be thrown up. Just outside of Great Britain's forward 50. Canada with 2 straight goals to tighten this game. 11-point lead for Great Britain. Tried to go on the run, now they do. Kick, not really the best. And that was all in Callum Newman's better position, and he takes the mark. Over here, to Paul Skyver. The mark. Along the wing, right in front of our there live broadcast position. Here's Matty Morris. He's kicked a goal in this game. Great Britain still going forward. Not the cleanest route forward, but it's still going forward, and it's still going. Here's Kai Andrew. Kick towards forward 50, and there's a mark, so that will be a kick at goal.
That's Kai Andrew with the mark there. Beautiful, not quite a lead, running to the ball, almost like a wide receiver in football. And now he has an opportunity to give Great Britain a critical score.
They followed the ball. He was certainly involved in the play at midfield, and then ended up catching a mark in the forward 50, and now has a kick at goal. So that shows you, and he kicks the goal. No, it's a behind, so his boot.
And a correction, that was actually Edward Roberts, so he will get on the scoreboard, but not the score that he was looking for.
Canada now with possession. That's a nice mark. Long, high kick just outside the forward 50, off hands. Canada does gain possession, kicks towards the hot spot. The ball goes off hands, little bit of space there, and here's a free kick for Canada. Quite close to the goals. This will be a tight angle, but certainly a kickable ball for goal.
And it's going to be Brady Walker of the Toronto Central Blues, who's traveled to 60 countries. He's played Canadian football, and he's got an opportunity to record a major score here for Team Canada. And you hear the Canadian bench roaring once they realize he was going to be awarded a free kick. What is he going to do with this free kick? Tries to boot through. And you hear the approval of Team Canada's bench. Look at the Canadians roaring back the north wind. Another major score here.
That puts them within a kick in this game with the clock ticking towards halftime. We're going to not have much time by the time the ball's bounced in the middle. So essentially it's going to be a 6-point lead, very likely at halftime in this game. Important goal when you look at this game, and you love those late goals in the second quarter.
And see the Canadian bench doing their best to communicate time. They're giving the 30-second signal. That may or may not be in line with what the umpires are saying, but like David was just saying, not going to be a lot of time. And in fact, there's no time left. So Team Canada pushes and claws their way back, and all of a sudden we have a 1-goal contest here. Payable app scoreboard, Great Britain 4 goals, 3 behinds for 27. Canada 3 goals, 3 behinds, 21. Again, 1 goal is the difference, and not so much a tale of 2 quarters, but that second quarter was almost like 2 different quarters.
Yeah, the momentum is certainly in the north wind end of the ground at this point. Fairly big lead by Great Britain when you look at it, but now the north wind are a-blowing, and they're within a kick in this game at halftime.
Yeah, game kind of changing, becoming a little bit more wide open. There wasn't a ton of space for either team in that first quarter. Things opening up a little bit. Canada getting some pretty results along the ground, taking advantage of their free kicks, and it's certainly anybody's game going into the second half.
Making better decisions, too. I thought Canada cleaned up a bit of their decision-making late in that second quarter, which led to getting the ball down the field and getting the opportunities to kick at goal.
Indeed, and they did capitalize towards the end of the half, but ultimately it is Great Britain ahead on the Payable Apps scoreboard. 4 goals, 3 behinds, Great Britain. Canada, 3 goals, 3 behinds, 27-21, Great Britain. That is the score. You are watching final game of day number 2 with the 2024 Transatlantic Cup.
Footy fans, you need to know about AFL Canada Shop. AFL Canada Shop has great items, whether you are a player, a coach, an umpire, a fan of Team Canada, or helping to grow this great game. Plus, AFL Canada Shop sells the highest quality Australian footballs at the best price anywhere. And we ship everywhere in the footy world. So visit AFL Canada Shop today at aflcanadashop.ca.
AFL has huge potential, not only in Colombia, but also Latin America. And Orica's really excited to be part of that story.
Los lazos humanos entre Colombia y Australia son de una importancia altísima. Para ambos países el deporte es algo muy importante en la vida. Tenemos las culturas muy similares en este sentido, con los valores de equidad de género, de participación. En la cancha todos somos iguales.
Mi vida siempre se basó en el tema del deporte, porque el deporte a mí me salvó de todo aspecto posible que normalmente en la juventud no. El tema de alcohol, de vicios y demás, a mí llegó a mi vida fue el deporte. En el 2019 tuve un accidente de tránsito donde las oportunidades de volver a tocar una cancha eran nulas. Aún los médicos me dicen, tú cero deporte, cero correr, jugar, saltar, deportes de contacto. Siento que mi familia en esa parte forma un pilar importantísimo. Mi mamá estuvo conmigo y me cuidó como nadie lo hizo, porque era la que tenía y se aguantaba la de mamá, no quiero a nadie en este momento.
AFL Colombia has the potential to have long-lasting impacts in the communities. Entonces, Alejandro, Oscar y Estefanía, we chose these players as the future leaders because they showed throughout the selection process and throughout their time in the organisation that they are future leaders and they are really focused on developing others.
O sea, la idea es crecer aún más, estar en un nivel alto para así poder llegar y enseñarle a todos a mis compañeros.
Para mí la beca es una oportunidad enorme, una oportunidad que no se le presenta a cualquiera, una oportunidad que ya tenía mi nombre destinado en ello. Voy a vivir siempre agradecida con este deporte porque me dio una luz. Porque yo vivía mi vida, después del accidente, vivía mi vida, pero no era feliz. Cuando conocí el deporte y empecé a jugar de nuevo, y vida está de testigo, mi vida cambió.
That's the culmination of a lot of work for a lot of people. A heap of people have contributed to this, and it's great to see them living out their dreams, and we're all very excited for them, and it's going to be great.
With the Canadian team, the Northwind had a very good last part of that second quarter. We'll see if that continues in the third quarter or not. It has been a bit of a seesaw matchup. Lots of pressure. It'll also be interesting to see if that pressure can remain. Will there be a little bit of tired bodies out there? Will that create some room for some players? And if so, which team will feel that fatigue going into these last 2 quarters of this matchup?
Teams, of course, will switch sides again going into this third quarter. Great Britain, the Bulldogs, are in blue today. They will kick to the Mississauga end. Don't forget to visit Mississauga.ca, tournament hotel and transit partner with hundreds of must-see experiences, plenty of gorgeous scenery, world-class eats and events. Mississauga is yours to explore. Canada will be kicking towards the Toronto end as we're getting ready to start the second half of this great football game. It is 27-21 for Great Britain.
Gregory Lehman will again be the ruck here, I believe, for Canada from St. John's, Newfoundland. Plays for the Ottawa Swans. The ball up will be because of the Australian High Commission to Canada, sponsoring all balls throughout this tournament. They're responsible for advancing Australia's interest in Canada. Visit their website at canada.embassy.gov.au. Patrick's take it away for the start of this third quarter.
Of course, David and I, Atlantic Canadians, with vested interest in Greg Lehman taking the tip. He played volleyball at Memorial University in Newfoundland. If there's any sport that's going to prepare you for being a ruck in Aussie football, maybe volleyball is the one, as Canada would love to win that center tap and then try to establish something early on. And Great Britain is going to be Joe Moore of the Sussex Swans. It looks like he'll be the one taking the tap.
Greg and I have similar hairstyles, but not certainly near the same height.
Yeah, I also resemble that remark. People are now thankful that we are not on video and that they're seeing the footy action instead. As the ball is up to start the second half of play. And once again, no clear possession coming off the center clearances. Ball on the ground here. Again, Great Britain in blue, Canada in red. A classic Commonwealth clash here at the grounds in Toronto. Kick towards the forward 54. Great Britain, ball on the ground as Greg Bridges was trying to get his hands on it for Team Canada. Good job getting his head over the ball. The ball will go towards Lehman along the ground. Lehman being swarmed here. And all of a sudden, Great Britain with numbers to the contest. But I don't think there was any prior opportunity there for Greg Lehman.
Well, the umpire disagrees, and this will be a free kick for Great Britain.
And his word matters more than mine.
Way more. Either one of ours, really. Yeah. Here's a kick deep into the forward 50 off the Canadians' hands. Soccered forward. Can they gain possession? They can't in the short term. Held there by Schwarzentruber. Not the easiest name for a broadcaster for the record, but
coming out this way, coming out this way.
There's a ball up right in front of the sticks. Off hands to the pocket, kicked up the wing, but the only person there is a Great Britain player, Owain Ryland. Ryland kicks to the middle, no mark taken, but possession, kicked in by Newman. Long, deep kick towards goal. The ball, though, goes in the wrong side of the post, and there's a behind for Great Britain, which extends their lead to 7 points.
You wonder if the wind has started to become a factor here, as it looked like Ryland had that kick on line, and then it seemed like the wind took it away that extra step, which is why it was Callum Newman, not the one wrestling in the G1 climax, but the one playing for Great Britain, had to go rush towards that ball. But ultimately, Great Britain does get the 1 point out of it. As ball on the ground here, as it is a 4-4 scoreline for Great Britain. They lead Canada 28-21. And the ball will find its way out of play.
To further your point, the wind's also not consistent. It's gusty, so you think there's no wind, and then it suddenly comes up, which really can affect a kick, because you can't really judge what you're going to do because of the wind on a kick.
I want to thank the folks at eThere Live, not only giving you the great pictures you're seeing, but also this tent. Otherwise, David and I might blow away in the wind here. As tap by Canada, but Great Britain is going to take possession. And big kick there by Ole Hoban, who's been a fun player to watch for Great Britain today. He'll keep it along the left boundary for Great Britain, and the ball dribbles out of bounds.
A lot of play along the wing in the second quarter. We're approaching 3 minutes gone here in the second quarter. Just one behind, 1 point by Great Britain. So far scored in this quarter. 7 point lead for Great Britain. Ball thrown in, bounces off the turf. Kicked by Canada, but that's kicked over the line and will be a free kick to Great Britain.
Yeah, a bit of a choppy start here. We talked about the wind, and you're seeing some disjointed play as we've only played a little bit more than 3 minutes, but I don't know if we've really had a period of more than 20 or 30 seconds here in this third quarter with the ball not going out of bounds. Again, we talked about that's been a theme throughout the day, both teams fighting really for every inch out there on the ground. It is Great Britain now that seems to have something on here towards the forward 50. And you're just seeing a swarm of both red and blue going towards the contest. And it looks like we'll see a ball up there.
Yep.
And the words "no prior" are applicable in this case. Ball up.
Off the ruck contest, Canada gets it up towards midfield, but really to no one in particular. Just a lot of emergency kicks right now out of their defensive half. But they do gain a bit of possession. The ball's on the ground. That kick could have been in danger, but it's not called. Great Britain gains control. Kick towards midfield. Bounce goes towards Lehman. He gets it forward, but Canada can't gain clean possession. Now finally they do. Bridges up. Oh, big stretch, but can't take down the mark. Great Britain kicks it towards their forward 50. Canada gets a hand on it.
Contact below the knees, Canada.
Canada gets the free kick because of contact below the knees. You would have heard that through the their live broadcast. Great job by our broadcast partners. And it's a free kick for Canada.
Yeah, if you're not super familiar with Australian football, you can think of the tackling. It's almost like a strike zone in baseball. If it's too high or too low, you can't tackle there, and the tackle below the knees ends up being a free kick. But Great Britain has the ball now. It goes way up. Seeing a lot of those high kicks today. I don't know if that's also a byproduct of the win. Now it's bouncing up in the air. It is going to be Greg Bridges booting that forward, and it comes towards the Canadian forward 50. Ball dribbling around as Great Britain forced into the defensive side of the 50, but they'll quickly clear it out. Kick to space. Ball bounces along the ground. A lot of space out there, and it's finally going to, it's going to make its way to the boundary. And will it stay in? No, it will not. As trying to keep that ball alive was Kai Andrew of the Cardiff Panthers. So we talked about this with the women, too. Great Britain with representation from all the parts of Great Britain. It's not just an English team, which is nice to see. And of course, similar with Canada, players from all kinds of different provinces.
Hodge. Players stop, but umpire didn't call stop, so it's continuing on. That handball goes back to Bayouche. Kick towards forward 50, but that's a defensive hand, and it goes down the wing. Great Britain with a little bit of flow here. Down the wing. Ball on the Lake Ontario side. And that's over the line, will be boundary throw-in.
Payable app scoreboard showing Great Britain 4 goals, 4 behind, 28. Canada 3 goals, 3 behinds, 21. Still anybody's game, although that behind that Great Britain early in the third quarter, somewhat looming large, makes it less of a clean deficit. Ball up in the air, now battle along the ground as Canada trails by 7 points. The Canadian women lost to Great Britain by 2 yesterday, so the men trying to avenge that result. Ball kicked along the right boundary, bouncing around opposite of our There live broadcast location. We thank you for tuning in on the AFL Canada YouTube channel, wherever you're watching from today on this Saturday afternoon here in Toronto. Ball went out, so the umpires will sort that out in a 28-21 game for Great Britain. Great Britain looking to move up the Vision Glass tournament standings. Vision Glass Toronto has locations of Richmond Hill, Thornhill, Woodbridge, and Vaughan. They specialize in auto glass services.
Hello to everybody watching from the United Kingdom. Really prime time right now in the United Kingdom. So hopefully we have lots of viewers watching their Bulldogs, which are putting on a pretty impressive performance so far in this game. Still lead by 7 here in the third quarter. And we have a stoppage.
And one of the Great Britain players is down, and we'll have to see how this affects the time. Now, this has been a tournament this is a tournament that conducts with run on time, but in the event of injury, it is in the umpire's discretion to pause the clock. So we're on our broadcast location, not necessarily 100% in sync, but of course, most importantly, is the umpires looking after the health and safety of the players. Is that David's going to try to retrieve some information there as to which player might be out. Of course, my Premier League following experience tells me there's a 5-hour time difference between Toronto and Great Britain, as David was saying. So 8:07. Anybody watching over there? And
So used to Atlantic time.
yeah, it's
I was
4
thinking
hours.
7's still prime time.
Yeah, it's 4 hours from us in the east coast of Canada in the forgotten time zone where Ian Euler, we were talking about him earlier at the Halifax Dockers, so almost coast-to-coast representation. We'd love to see the resurrection of the St. John's Puffins in Newfoundland at some point, and I don't know if Greg Lehman ever suited up for them during his time in Newfoundland, but and the Great Britain player is getting up and walking on his own accord. That is what we want to see. And looks like if he goes to the interchange gates, you might have heard Peter Holden make that explanation earlier in the tournament. If a player has to leave the field out of the interchange gates, that he is ruled out. But it doesn't look like that's the case here, which is, as I said, that's what we want. We want to see everybody up and healthy, and that's certainly good news. And, can become a battle against attrition in a long tournament like this. 10 days, you're playing every second day. No rest for the wicket here. And the other thing we should know, we talked about this earlier, that 20-minute quarters in the men's game, is 17.5. So if you're watching the women's game yesterday and you thought you were hallucinating and that the clocks were different, it wasn't you. That is actually how the format works. But certainly a lengthy tournament for all the men and women competing this week in Toronto.
Ball's finally thrown in. Lehman with a beautiful tap towards forward 50. Can a player from Canada pick it up? They can't. It's on the ground. Lots of players around the ball. I believe that's Matteo Lugarini.
I think my phonetics
yes.
takes me. So that's a tremendous name. I wonder if that would fit on the back of a hockey jersey.
A little bit more interesting than Smith, I suppose. Here's Great Britain. They get a mark and just outside their forward 50. See if they can get some mojo going. That's picked up though by Canada. High ball off Great Britain's hands. Great Britain defending really well in this quarter when it's gone into their forward 50. Just inside the line, and this will be a ball up.
Yeah, before the game resumes here, wanted to note that was Owain Ryland, the Great Britain captain, that went off. He's receiving treatment in the tent already. Looks no worse for wear, so hopefully we're going to see him back before this game is concluded.
Something like a rugby game, going very slowly forward right now. Another ball up. Batted forward, but in the hands of Great Britain. Bounces off the tackle there. Long kick, beautiful kick to the Great Britain's advantage. Kicked off the ground now to the pocket. Here is Andrew. Andrew kicks towards goal. Doesn't make it. Off hands. There's a kick at goal again, but Bridges gets the mark. And I don't believe that is considered a behind, so that's just a mark outside the posts. Kicked it up the line. Both players contest that. Back comes Great Britain. Turnaround kick. Nice mark there. Smart play to get the mark from a boat. That kick will be just inside the 50-meter line. So we'll see if he has the leg to kick a goal here.
Yeah, it'll be the first major score of this third quarter. And instead he's going to kick for Mark, and that will inch the Great Britain side a little bit closer here. And backing up just at the 50-meter line to take this with 10:47 or so to go here in the third quarter. Key moment in the game perhaps for Great Britain. Free kick attempt. Up and up and up. And that is going to go clear through, it looks like. Great Britain adding to their lead. And that is going to make it a 15-point margin for Great Britain. And that is Matty Morris kicking it through.
His second goal of the game. First multiple goal kicker of this game. And that's really important goal in the context of this game. Canada had the momentum, except for a behind by Great Britain. They had the last, I believe, 18 points in this game before that behind. But Great Britain gets the first goal of this third quarter, and they now take back the momentum and increase their lead It's Great Britain 5 goals, 4 behinds, 34 points to Canada 3 goals, 3 behinds, 21 points.
Tap after the goal at center, and no clear winner of that contest. And we're going to get another ball up again. And that one is going to be tapped by Great Britain. Again, play in the center square now as it was O'Day Capelli trying to get rid of it. Ball will come back out into the Great Britain forward 50. Ball on the ground. And Canada trying to handball it out of trouble. Comes along the right side boundary. Team Canada's Chris Stokes with it. He's taking it ground. Now Great Britain in possession. Kick, centering kick there for Great Britain. No intercept mark there. Canada trying to clear it out of trouble. No one able to really pick up the ball. As it'll come to, was Eric Klein that was trying to pick that up. Eric Klein, he played at the 22 Parallel Cup as well as the IC in 2017. He plays for the Hamilton Tigers. As
that kick didn't go out in full, so there'll be a boundary throw-in. Certainly Kai Andrew is happy that didn't go out in the full. Canada gets possession, though. Gregory Bridges. Bouncing ball in the pocket.
Great Britain.
And there's a whistle. And there's a free kick for Great Britain. So they get a chance to get 2 in a row here. The momentum swing goes the Great Britain way right now.
yeah, crucial free kick opportunity here with Great Britain already holding a 13-point lead.
To your left. Yeah, right there. That's it there.
They were able.
Does he kick a he kicks for goal in the trees.
Looks like that's going to be behind. We see the flag come out.
It's tough from this angle to see what that was.
So it's 5 goals, 5 behinds for Great Britain, 3 goals, 3 behinds for Team Canada. And
there's a kick towards goal, and another goal for Great Britain.
And Great Britain has added to their lead. And now 6 goals, 5 behinds for Great Britain. Bit of a congested sequence there, but that's a key goal for the Brits.
Didn't see who kicked that one. Right now, Great Britain probably doesn't care. They just care that they have a 20-point lead here in the third quarter. Canada had the momentum in the second, but it's been snatched back from their hands by the Great Britain Bulldogs.
Yeah, quarter time perhaps coming, or halftime coming at the right time for Great Britain as Team Canada was really starting to build the momentum there at the end of the second quarter, but it's been all Great Britain here in the second half thus far. Canada still trying to make something happen along the right boundary as ball going to ground there. That was Kyle Graham, the veteran for Team Canada. Now the Canadian bench hoping a decision goes in their favor.
It'll be a Canada free kick.
Hold there, TB, that's your mark.
It was Connor Jeffrey with that last goal for Great Britain. He's been confirmed. So here's a kick deep into Canada forward 50. It's off hands. Kicked off the bounce by Great Britain. And that's going to be marked by Roberts. Off hands, Canada on the kick. Here is Schwarzenberger. Trooper, sorry. Ball just bouncing around. Seems to be just alternating between red and blue jumpers right now. Oh, but there's a nice tackle. Neaston tried to run around, but it didn't work. Kick into forward 50 for Great Britain. Can Canada defend? They do. Kick to the wing. That's off hands. Oiter. And there's a nice mark by Trezeguet. His kick off Great Britain hands. There's a tackle. And that'll be a free kick to Great Britain.
Yeah, Great Britain really limiting anything. That last line of defense has been tough for Canada to penetrate. Ian Oyler unable to complete the mark, but he does hold the. He does not caught holding the ball. Rather, he gets rid of it in the handball. Good handball by Team Canada as it's push towards the inside 50. And again, Great Britain getting numbers to the contest. That's been key for them in this third quarter. They call it the Premiership quarter, and it's been a good one for the team in blue. And no holding the ball call there. Play goes on to the benefit of the Great Britain Bulldogs. Now it's punched towards the right boundary. Hands up for Team Canada as the Canadians try to reverse the flow of play here. It'll come up in the air, and good hands, not a mark, but good possession establishment there from Callum Newman. And the switch sees the Great Brits go to the left side of the field, up the boundary. Game pace picking up here in the last minute or so. And ball goes now to ground, and we've got a battle, and we will see a subsequent whistle here as we're through the first 15 plus of this third quarter.
In the back call, so that'll be free kick to Canada. It's like somebody is in a little bit of grief over there on the Lake Ontario side. It looks like we're going to have a stoppage right now as we have an injured Canadian player.
Yeah, it'd be the second one we've seen in this third quarter. As you may remember earlier in the quarter, it was Owain Ryland, the captain of Great Britain, that went down, and he was getting treated at the tent to our right, and as far as I can see, he's returned either to the field or the Great Britain bench. Actually, I can see him on the bench there. I'm not sure if he's going to be ready to return. That might be a discussion they're having now. We'll see if we can get you any more of the information as to what's happening right now. And actually, play has resumed.
That was Mason Shoebridge, but it looks like he's staying in the game. Mason Shoebridge of the Calgary Kangaroos. Canada going to in their forward 50. Can they gain possession in their forward 50? It seems they get the entries, but they can't gain possession, and you're not going to get points, goals particularly, if you can't gain possession in your forward 50 most of the time. So here the ball and holding, and that's a free kick to Canada.
Yeah, I think he didn't have the ball, and there was a hold there. It's obviously can't do that, so Canada learned a free kick.
Schwarzenbruder. Short kick, but there's a mark. Tries. Brady Walker tries to get it. It's a high kick towards the front of goals. No mark taken. Again, just a lot of ping-pongy type play. Here's a kick by Cook, and that is a behind by Canada. Their first score of this quarter, but not the one they want.
Yeah, knocked through with hands. That was a good result for Great Britain. It kind of relieves a rare spell of deep pressure. You're talking about those inside 50s. Canada's been getting those shallow inside 50s. Haven't been able to get through to the backs, though, of Great Britain. Goal, square kick for Great Britain. It'll come up into the sky. Where is it going to land? It's going to land on the ground. Nobody's able to mark, as taking it out was Edward Roberts. As Great Britain trying to move to a ground game, as that was Adam Kelly taking it ground. He'll use the handball option. Hoban will send it across, and that's going to be Walkden, who's had a good game for Great Britain. He'll send it up in the air. Contest as Greg Bridges is able to pull that ball down. Greg Bridges plays for the Ottawa Swans and visited Australia. Used to play with the Halifax Dockers as well. He'll kick the ball forward. Another mark for Canada. And this is what Canada needs. Marks in succession. Get some good ball movement going. See if they can swing this game back in their favor. Ball kicked along the right boundary, and that is going to go dribbling out of play.
Absolutely. Canada seems to have been better in this game when there's been flow. When it's been a lot of choppy play, that seems to be in the Great Britain's hands. So when there's flow, when Canada can get a flow going, that's when it's going to be for their benefit. So off the boundary throw in, Great Britain has possession. And there's the horn to end the third quarter with the score 40-21 for Great Britain. If that's what's on the scoreboard. Oh, we seem to have a... Well, we'll check that out and get back to you for what the score is. But it is a Great Britain lead here after 3 quarters of the Transatlantic Cup presented by Payable Apps here at Humber College in Etobicoke, Ontario. We'll be back here in a few minutes.
Google Forms now accepts payments. The Payable Forms add-on allows for seamless integration of a digital checkout with your Google Forms. Install the Payable Forms add-on. Link your payment provider. Share and get paid. Your customers can use Apple Pay, Google Pay, Visa, MasterCard, American Express, Discover, Cash App, Venmo, and more. Save time and hassle by automating your payment process quickly and simply. Payable Forms gets you paid.
Play for fun. Play for fitness. Play for glory. Play for community. Play for club. Play for country. Play for each other. Play because you love playing. Play footy. Visit aflcanada.com and find a club near you today.
Patrick McNeil back here with you alongside David Smith as we are at the campus of Humber College at the Colonel Samuel Smith Field here in Toronto, Ontario. It's day 2, first day of the men's competition in the Transatlantic Cup. As Great Britain, we look at the Payable app scoreboard. They lead Team Canada 6 goals, 5 behinds, 41. Great Britain, Canada 3 goals, 4 behinds at 22. And the momentum has swung back a few times in this game, David, and the swing in the third quarter not so kind to the Canadians.
Certainly, Great Britain would have been very happy with how that third quarter went, and we've confirmed the score now. So it's a bit of a mountain to climb for the Northwind in this fourth quarter, but it's still 20 minutes of footy to play. So they're going to put everything into this fourth quarter, and let's see if they can make a game of it before the final horn sounds.
Yeah, and that score clarification is important. There was some discussions between the goal umpires and the scoreboard operators. That's why we had the discrepancy there. And it is only a behind, but that behind could prove crucial because it goes from 18 to 19. So all of a sudden a 3-score game becomes a 4-score game. So that's something that Canada could have done without, but it's obviously at 20 minutes of football left in this fourth quarter. So we'll see how the wind plays into this contest. Again, this is the final game of the day, and it's the first day of men's competition. Earlier results saw Ireland defeat Colombia, USA defeating France. So if this score were to hold, USA and Ireland would be the leaders in their respective groups, but Canada would like to change the table. And, of course, those standings provided to by Vision Glass Toronto. Vision Glass Tournament standings. They have locations in Richmond Hill, Thornhill, Woodbridge, and Vaughan. They specialize in auto glass services here. And, again, that is the mountain to climb for Canada, 19 points, but certainly not something that can't be accomplished for Team Canada, David.
No, it's going to... A good start here for Canada is going to be very important. I really think they need to get some flow going here early in the fourth, get their mojo going, get some confidence, because really this game for Canada, when they've been able to do, mark after mark, get down the field, that's where they've been the best. Great Britain has been really good today at taking advantage of the chances they've had. The chances have been pretty even, but certainly Great Britain, and it's hard not to mention 2 very long kicks for goal that went through the big sticks for 6 points. those type of goals can be huge because not only do you get the 6 points, you get an energy from those big goals, those long goals. It just gives your team a lift. And they had 2 of those early in this game, and certainly that's a big part of the lead they have right now.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question about that, as it is a 19-point advantage for Great Britain. Again, this is the day 1 of men's competition, day 2 overall. Women were in action yesterday. They'll be in action again tomorrow. They'll be alternating until the round robin is completed. This is day 2 of 10 great days of Australian football here in Toronto for the 2024 Transatlantic Cup, the first ever major international top flight tournament to take place outside of Australia. You are watching history here, presented by eThere Live, streamed on the AFL Canada YouTube channel.
All right, we're just about ready for the opening bounce here in the 4th quarter. Can Canada come back from this deficit? Lehman gets it down. Canada looks like they have a free kick. Nope, it is, yes. It goes to Mickey Burke of the Edmonton Wombats. Long kick towards their forward, but it's an intercept mark by Great Britain. And they clear out of there. But there's another intercept mark by Canada, and that might be coming right back into the forward 50. But that kick doesn't go where it wants to go. It's a little bit of, here, you take it, no, you take it, between these 2 teams. Except there, Great Britain gets a mark off their own kick right at midfield on the wing on the Lake Ontario side of the field here at Humber College in Etobicoke, Ontario.
Yeah, certainly the back and forth marks will favor the Great Britain team that has that 19-point lead. Saw Matty Morris figuring into that. He's had a big game today for Great Britain. As ball on the right side, centering kick as going towards the forward 54, the Great Britain Bulldogs, who are in blue, kicking towards the Toronto end. Canada kicking towards the visitmississauga.ca end. Thank the city of Mississauga for being a tournament sponsor. Lots of attractions in the city. We've been enjoying that this week, and more to come, of course. Ball up as Lehman will tap it forward for Canada. Certainly gives Canada a size advantage in the ruck. He's taken the ground, and did he get rid of that? And Great Britain, their fans are campaigning for holding the ball call. It looks like they're going to get it. As Great Britain again with this 19-point lead early in the 4th quarter. Kick towards inside 54. Great Britain hands up to block the mark, but the Great Brits regain possession as ball goes way up in the air and it hits the trees, and that should go for a behind, and that was off the boot of Stephen Pup Welton.
Canada tries to clear from their defensive 50. That's too far. And back comes Great Britain. Here's Roberts. And now Welton. Welton. Oh, that's a nice kick and a nice mark by Hodgson. He's going to take all the time in the world here as they have the lead and he gets the kick at goal. This would be a backbreaker in the terms of this game.
And for those not super familiar, the umpires grant more time to take the free kick if it's a kick for goal. And obviously in a situation like this, for Great Britain, they'll want to maximize that time as Hodgson creeps up towards his kick. And he'll try to belt that one through, and it's looking good off the boot. And another high kick ends up hitting the trees. But before it does that, it goes straight through the goalpost. That's going to be goal number 7 on the day for Great Britain off the boot of Hodgson. 7 goals, 6 behinds. Great Britain leads Canada 48-22, and the mountain, so to speak, gets a little bit higher for Team Canada here to climb.
Looking like Mount Everest here for Canada. Certainly they needed a good start, and that's not the start they wanted in any way. Great Britain extends the lead. 26-point lead here in the 4th quarter. Canada on home ground, but it hasn't been kind to them so far today. Ball up. Lehman. Certainly getting the hand on the ball first most of the time, but that doesn't always lead to possessions for Canada. They have it right now. Here's Shoebridge. Big high kick to midfield, this side of the ground. And this is a free kick to Canada. Kyle Graham of the Quebec Saints.
Yeah, veteran in the international game for Canada, and he's going to boot it. The urgency will be on here for Team Canada, but an intercept mark, a key intercept mark for Joe Moore of the Sussex Swans. He's engaged to a police officer, so I'm sure he's sure to abide by the laws of the game. He kicks it along the right side as ball finds its way to the corridor. Ball on the ground now as it'll be picked up by Capelli, and he'll handball it. But again, you're seeing just no time for Canada to distribute the ball. And if you're Great Britain, you got a ball up as opposed to a free kick, but you don't want to wait. Just keep putting Canada in those 50-50 scenarios. Don't give any time to move the ball whatsoever.
Great Britain showing great appetite for the tackle there, and they want to slow this game down as much as they can. Remember, the clock continues to run with those ruck contests, so it kills a lot of time when the ball is killed like that. Here's kick right in front of us, along the wing. Ball picked up by White, but he can't keep it. And the ball goes over the line. That will be a boundary throw-in.
That ball forced out as we played the first 5 minutes of this fourth quarter. Great Britain ahead 48-22 on the Payable App scoreboard. Ball comes out, and it's tapped by Lehman, and then tapped forward as Canada trying to keep the flow going here, so to speak. Ball on the ground. We'll get a quick whistle.
Another ball up. As I say, these ball ups to Great Britain's advantage, because every time there's a ball up, there is time killed off the clock. We have a blood rule here for number 8, Adam Kelly, so they'll get a new player on. Canada with getting some changes in as well. Roberts' hands for Great Britain. Kicked by Tucker. Bridges does get the ball to a teammate. Here is Bayushi. That's over his teammate's hands, and Great Britain takes control. Kicks towards the Lake Ontario side, just outside Great Britain's forward 50. Picked up by Canada. Was that tackle low? Umpire said no. Kick it, goal for Great Britain. And they like it, and it looks like it's another one for Great Britain. Their lead gets extended. And that is, I believe, another goal for David Hodgson. His third of the game.
Yeah, David Hodgson, he doesn't like high scores usually because he's a golfer, but he likes the high score for Great Britain thanks to another goal from him as he helps extend their lead here. 8 goals, 6 behinds, 54 points for Great Britain on the Payable App scoreboard. Canada sitting at 22, so it's 54-22 for Great Britain here with 13 minutes to play. And now time very much the enemy of Team Canada as the ball will come back to center following the goal. And Great Britain making the most of their opportunities at both ends of the field. As the ball up, tapped forward by the Great Britain Bulldogs, who again are in blue, kicking towards Toronto. Canada kicking towards visitmississauga.ca. They haven't been visiting Mississauga as much as they would like in this fourth quarter. And the ball is going to be won by Great Britain. It'll be kicked forward. And contest inside 54. Great Britain along the ground. It comes back right along that 50-meter line. As ball on the ground, and he's going to be able to rein it in. Play stays alive as umpires letting them sort it out. And finally, we'll get a whistle.
The ball up on the Lake Ontario side, just outside the, right on the line of 50-meter line of the Great Britain's forward goals. The ball going off some hands and over the boundary. This quarter has been everything Great Britain has wanted. Lots of breaks, lots of ball ups, plus a goal or two. So certainly has not been going the Northwind way in this quarter. And there's a mark by Great Britain.
Yeah, can't confirm in our broadcast tent there's plenty of wind, but it hasn't been the north wind that Canada was looking for as Great Britain with that free kick opportunity here is a little under 12 minutes to play, it looks like. Of course, we've had some quick substitutions for blood and whatnot, so the clock may not be exact as what you're seeing on the screen, but gives you an idea of what we have left to play here. as Great Britain on the attack in the forward 50. Kick from a bit of an angle there. It'll go dribbling across the face, and that's going to go out of play, and no score recorded there.
Boundary throw in from the pocket right in front of goals here. It's another chance for Great Britain if they can get control and get a kick on goal. And they do, right off the hand. That is kicked, but left of the post, and that'll be a behind for Great Britain. But they're doing all the scoring right now, which is the exact opposite of what Canada needs.
Yeah, that was David Hodgson looking for another goal.
He's been a factor for sure. Off hands and to midfield. So nice Savardian spinorama there by number 13.
That's Andy Watkins. He's also been a factor in this game for Great Britain. There's a big kick now to Jack Coughlin. Big mark, and he'll take that from outside the 50-meter arc. He'll kick it along the right side. Ball is up in the air, and it's going to land in Canadian hands. Canada try to get it out of trouble here, and that's going to be kicked across the face, and that could be disadvantageous for Team Canada. And Great Britain calling for possession here. So looks like we've crossed the halfway mark of this fourth quarter, the final quarter of day 2 action here at the Transatlantic Cup. It is indeed a free kick for Great Britain. That is going to be Stephen Welton taking it on a bit of an angle. Perhaps he's going to kick the goal square, and looks that's exactly what he's going to try to do, but mark not completed. The good defending there by Team Canada. Now it's kicked along the boundary, and that'll be reeled in by Chris Moaning, veteran of international competition, plays for the Hamilton Wildcats. I mentioned Tigers earlier. It is more not as so specific. It's the Hamilton Wildcats that Moaning plays for. There is a intercept mark for the Great Britain Bulldogs, courtesy of Oliver Reese.
Playing smart footy right now, doing nothing in a hurry. They have the clock on their side. They want to kill as much of it as possible. And you know, at this point, particularly Great Britain, you want to conserve a little bit of energy in this sort of tournament. Canada, though, getting forward, does get a forward 50 entry. Chasing it down is Kyle Graham. The ball still bouncing. And still in bounds.
This all comes at 8:37 to go here in the fourth quarter.
Breeze has really kicked up in the last few minutes. We really haven't had a lot of wind in these 2 days, but it certainly has kicked up.
Well, you never know what wind is going to come off Lake Ontario as the ball on the Lake Ontario side. And we talked about the pace you mentioned earlier, David. Canada seeming to do better when it was a quick pace, and obviously when you're trailing, you want that. Now time very much of the essence in this game.
That's a kick out on the full. So that'll be a free kick for Great Britain. Again, just all kinds of delays. Clock just keeps running. Canada can't get any mojo going. They can't get any flow. This is a dream quarter for Great Britain, who not only has scored, they've made it a stoppage game. And it's really, if you're the coach of Great Britain, that would be what you would have wanted when you talked at the third quarter time. Here's a kick into the Canadians forward 50, but again, another intercept mark by Great Britain. I believe that's Reese.
Yeah, that'll make the coach Dean Thomas happy for Great Britain as they work the ball along the right boundary here past the 12-minute mark of the fourth quarter. Payable app scoreboard shows Great Britain up 55-22 on Team Canada. Along the right boundary it goes. Nice clean mark there for the Great Brits. Matty Morris has been good on the attack, plays for the Cardiff Panthers. He's been a factor in this game for sure. He'll belt that along the right side, comes up in the air. And no clean possession, but it's on for Great Britain nonetheless. Decides to play on to the bounce. There's a kick towards goal square. Contest out in front. No one able to get their hands on it as of yet. As racing after it is Edward Roberts for Great Britain. He'll kick off an angle. Tries to kick to a mark. Perhaps nobody home to pick it up. Numbers in the contest, but nobody able to reel in the ball. And we get a whistle. Shaking the ball up here in the forward 50 for Great Britain.
Ball up. Great Britain's forward 50. Ball's seen a lot of the Toronto City end in this quarter. That's kicked towards goal. Not only does not go goal, Great Britain doesn't get possession. Bit of cleared out by Canada. They don't get possession, and it looks like there'll be a stoppage, but they do get a free kick. So Canada, see if they can get a mark here as they kick it further up. Canada calling for a push in the back. Umpire disagreed. Fearing. Off hands, that's a nice play, but Great Britain still picking it up. Here's Newman to, I believe that was Coughlin with the kick at goal, but that goes awry for another behind. That's 8 goals, 8 behinds, 56 points for Great Britain. 3 goals, 4 behinds, 22 points on the Payable apps scoreboard.
Yeah, Team Canada trailing here, and even if it looks like the game's out of doubt, don't forget that there is percentage to consider for tie breaks and whatnot, so Team Canada wants to finish strong, even if they're not necessarily able to come back to tie or win this contest. There is a mark for Great Britain as we're going to be crossing into the final 5 minutes here, as that was Jack Coughlin, plays in North London. He's an avid AFL fantasy player, I'm told. He's playing out his fantasy at the Transatlantic Cup of getting a victory on opening day. It looks like still time left in this one, but obviously things going well for Great Britain. He's got an opportunity at goal, and looks like he's got a kick straight forward. Up it goes, and that's going to go straight through, and that is a kick to goal on the free kick for Jack Coughlin, and Great Britain has their 9th goal of the day. 9 goals, 8 behind, 62-22 is the score for Great Britain, and just kind of everything has gone right here for Great Britain if you take out the last half of the second quarter.
Yeah, that was a dead straight kick. Beautiful kick. And they lengthen their lead. 40-point lead now for Great Britain. Certainly not what the Canada Northwind wanted going into this game.
Yeah, very impressive performance for Great Britain. Very comprehensive, and they're staking their claim over in that Group B. Of course, Ireland won earlier today, but this would place Great Britain firmly in second in the European pool, so to speak.
There's a ball towards Great Britain's. But there is a intercept mark by Canada. That was Morgan White up right in front of us. Here is Eric Klein. Kicks towards forward 50. There is an open player, but a little bit over his hands. And Great Britain looks like they're going to clean up here. Kick towards the wing. That's to nobody in particular. And can't pick up the ball. There was Adam Kelly. Boundary throw in. Just to the right of us here at the eThere Live broadcast position. 40-point lead for Great Britain. About 3 minutes left here in the fourth quarter.
As Team Canada looking to create something here, as David mentioned, just about 3 minutes left to go. Canada try to get a forward 50 here. Pushing forward with the ball there was Trent Loosemore. As the ball goes dribbling into the corner. Bit of a banana kick there, as that was Jeff Coventry. And looks like, I think that registered for behind. Jeff Coventry's had to try out once in the practice squad with the Montreal Alouettes in CFL, and has also played soccer, basketball, hockey, and volleyball, so certainly brings a multi-sport background. He's got experience playing for Canada as well. Played at the Parallel Cup in 2022 and 2023. Plays for the Ottawa Swans. Goal kick there for Great Britain, as that's Oliver Reese with the ball. He's feeling the pressure. He's got to get rid of it, so he'll just handball it out further into the goal square. The ball is kicked out towards the middle of the field. And a clever handball there overhead by Jack Coughlin. Ball will come towards the Great Britain forward 50. Ball bouncing along the ground now as Canada try to get rid of it. And it's going to come back to Great Britain, as that's Edward Roberts out there on the left boundary. Ball will be scooped up there by Adam Reed for Great Britain. As a clean marking option, and that is going to be sent to Joseph Lillis of the Wandsworth Demons. Ball moved across as Great Britain plays on. Kick towards goal, and is that going to dribble through? It goes off hands. I think that was Greg Bridges that was able to try to force that out of bounds.
About a minute and a half left here in the fourth quarter. As Great Britain still leads this game by 39 points. Sorry, 29. Yeah.
So your math, I believe, is correct there.
39 points. Off hands. Reed tries to pick it up. Misses the kick. And umpire has found something, and it looks like it's a free kick to Canada. But the clock ticks. And this game will be a Great Britain Bulldog victory. Kick here just in front of us. Handball. Nice pickup there by Coventry, but he gets taken down by Great Britain. Back comes Great Britain. There's a kick. Nice mark to Welton. Welton kicks towards the middle. Intercept mark by Canada, and it's just booted towards the forward 50. But there's the intercept mark. And that's the horn. Great Britain with a big victory here over Canada as they take their first game and the third and last game of day 2 of the 2024 Transatlantic Cup presented by Payable Apps here at Humber College in Etobicoke, Ontario.
Yeah, comprehensive victory for Great Britain. Payable Apps scoreboard shows 9 goals, 8 behind, 62. Canada 3 goals, 5 behind, 23. And I said Canada had that flurry in the end of the second quarter, but other than that, it was a Great Britain day. And they have to be thrilled with how this game has played out, getting a big victory over the hosts. And as said, that puts them behind Ireland in the standings in Group B in the European side for Great Britain.
Yeah, you had that feeling late in the second that Canada was gonna come through big in the third quarter, but certainly Great Britain with a great second half. They played smart. They slowed it down when they needed. They got stoppages when they wanted. They took advantage of their opportunities throughout the whole game, and that continued in the second half. So full marks to the Great Britain Bulldogs in this victory. Fully deserved, and a great job. 2 goals by Andy Walken, 3 goals by David Hodgson, and singles from Matty Morris, Callum Jensen, Connor Jeffrey, and Jack Coughlin.
All those players, big contributors for me, David, in addition to what they did on the goal-scoring sheet. Certainly all in contention for the Powerwood Game MVP. Any preference, perhaps, of those players or someone else that contributed off-ball?
They had a lot of players that contributed in this game. I really like Jenkinson's and Morris's game, but it's a pick 'em really when you look at it because they had a lot of players that contributed greatly in this game. Who are you picking this one?
Well, you're putting me on the spot here. That's a very good question as to who would get the game MVP. You know, as you said, I think it is a bit of a pick 'em, but maybe it's how he finished this game. I really liked the fourth quarter effort of Andy Watkin, so I will award him the Powerwood Game MVP. And again, no shortage of options and a great, strong Great Britain performance.
I won't argue with that pick at all. Good job, Patrick.
Well, this has been the coverage for Day 2 at the Transatlantic Cup. Great Britain wraps up our final game of the day. Reminder, we're back at it tomorrow. The women's action starts at 10 a.m. tomorrow as all the women's teams will be playing their second game of the tournament.
Yeah, we have Great Britain and Colombia at 10 a.m. Eastern, Ireland and Canada at 12 p.m. noon. Patrick and I will have the call of that game. And as well at 2 p.m. we have France and the USA as it's the second round of the women's part of the 2024 Transatlantic Cup presented by Payable Apps. I hope you'll join us for those games. Should be some great footy action as it has been for the first 2 days of this tournament.
Indeed it has, and again, we'll be back tomorrow with women's action. Myself, David, along with Peter Holden and Brian Barish. You have been watching Day 2 of the 2024 Transatlantic Cup from the Colonel Samuel Smith Park on the campus of Humber College in Toronto, Ontario. Production by eThere Live. Watch on AFL Canada's YouTube. We will see you tomorrow morning.
Google Forms now accepts payments. The Payable Forms add-on allows for seamless integration of a digital checkout with your Google Forms. Install the Payable Forms add-on, link your payment provider, share, and get paid. Your customers can use Apple Pay, Google Pay, Visa, MasterCard, American Express, Discover, Cash App, Venmo, and more. Save time and hassle by automating your payment